Alright, so we're going to be updating the Huntress's add-on tier list since they did change a few of her add-ons. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I just never got around to it, so we're just going to put this one out super quick. A few small tweaks. So the infantry belt got a change. It used to increase your hatchet carrying capacity by 2. Leather loop used to increase it by 1. You could stack these. You could have like 10 hatchets after she got her base kit update. Now they do something different. Infantry belt gives you 3% haste for 5 seconds after injuring a survivor. Leather loop gives you 2% haste after injuring a survivor for 5 seconds. Now, the problem is these belts don't do what they're supposed to do very well. They're really kind of to help you speed up and make up a little bit of ground. Really, if the infantry belt was 5% and the other belt was like 3%, then it might be worth something, but these number values are too low and the timer on them is too low to make anything significant happen. So we're going to be dropping the purple infantry belt all the way down to F tier and the leather loop down to F tier as well, and we'll go ahead and bump up the bandaged half to C tier. Now, some people might think this is a little bit too harsh, but once you really do the math on these add-ons, you'll kind of see why they're as bad as they are, right? Now, let's just pick the best one because I really wouldn't recommend running 2 of these at the same time. There's so much better add-ons. Shiny Pin's much better. Oak Haft is much better. Flower Babushka is much better. Hell, the heads are better. Glowing Concoction's goated. Like, there's so many better add-ons, right? So you get 3% haste for 5 seconds. Now, something to note about the Huntress is she has a lot of different movement speeds. It's not just 110 and 77. It's 110, 77, 93, all the way up from 93 to 110 on a scale system because she's recovering and slowly building her speed up. She doesn't just go from 93 in her recovery to 110 immediately. So let's say you're using the 3% haste one, the infantry belt. You hit a survivor with the hatchet, right? 5-second timer starts. You're recovering from that hatchet throw for 1.5 seconds. For 1.5 seconds, you're moving at 93% speed. Now, with infantry belt, you may be thinking you move at 96%, but this isn't the case because it's 3% of 93%. So you're going to be moving at probably 95%, somewhere around there. But we'll just say it's 96% just to simplify things, okay? So for 1.5 seconds of the 5 seconds, you're going to be moving at 96% because this hit. Keep in mind, if you don't land a hit, this does nothing at all whatsoever. So yeah, 5-second timer starts. So 3.5 seconds, you're going to be moving at 113. That's pretty insignificant. Almost worthless, like almost entirely meaningless. Now, this could be a little bit better if you're throwing an orbital, because if you throw an orbital, it takes way longer to get to the survivor. You already reach 110 by the time it hits the survivor, so you'll be moving at a full 113 for 5 seconds. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be hitting orbitals. You'll hit maybe 1, 2 a game. The survivors will wise up and stop getting caught by those, and most of your engagements are going to be in a chase. Close range to a degree, close to mid-range. Now, so you're going to be moving at 96% for 3.5 seconds. If you then immediately ready up a hatchet, which takes 0.9 seconds to charge before you can let it go immediately, you're going to be moving at 77%. So let's just say you move at 80% because of the infantry belt, even though it'd be more like 79. So you're moving at 80% for 3 seconds. 3% for 3 seconds, basically meaningless. Actually, it's 0.9 seconds, so you'd be moving at 90, or you'd be moving at 80% for 2.8 seconds, something like that. Let's just say it's 3 seconds. Basically meaningless. And there's obviously an add-on that does that way better. That's Shiny Pin, which is a flat 5%. So you'll be moving at 82 instead of 80. And it's permanent. It doesn't have a timer. And then you throw the hatchet immediately after the 0.9 second mark, and you're recovering again. You're moving at 96 for a couple seconds. It's not great. Both these add-ons are very, very terrible. Course Stone is only below it because it just increases the grunts of pain. It's just, you know, it's 50%. It's nothing crazy. Iron Will hard counters it. Iron Will's getting a buff. It's not great, honestly. And then Soldier's Putty. Soldier's Putty, honestly, the only reason why it's this low is because it's an ultra rare. This should not be an ultra rare. This should just be base kit, honestly. But yeah. So yeah, this is where I have her new tier list at. And so, all right, so that's the belts taken care of. And then I've kind of played more, used more add-ons, experimented a little bit more than my just standard loadout. And I'm actually going to move Oak Haft and Flower Babushka above the Venomous Concoction. And I'm actually going to drop the Venomous Concoction down to B tier. Right in the middle, right? It's definitely way more advantageous to be able to recover faster and throw hatchets faster. Like I said with the belts, if you're using Oak Haft, you're going to be moving faster anyways. So Oak Haft is also a better version of the belts. You recover faster, you're not moving as slow for longer. Instead of 1.5, it'll be 1.25. You'll get up to 110 faster. And being able to ready up a hatchet 10% faster on top of the 10% base kit buff she just got is huge. There's been a lot of times where I clipped the corner of a survivor's hitbox right at the very end that I would have never been able to hit without Flower Babushka. The reason why I dropped Venomous Concoction down is because of a few things. One, you hit the survivor and you don't really know what happened. There could be a Sprint Burster. They used Sprint Burst already and it really does nothing at all. They could be a dead hard user and you would have no idea. You hit them with the little 5-second thing and say they drop a pallet and they're mind gaming around the corner. It's really not that hard to wait out a 5-second exhaustion timer, especially with her being 110. All you need to do is get a high wall loop. You can pre-drop a pallet and it's pretty much back instantly. 5 seconds is very insignificant. If this was on a killer like Blight, you know, who could catch up super fast and put insane pressure on immediately, this would be a little bit better. I still do rate it better than the gloves because honestly her reload speed is fine as it is. And the Monograss Braid, because it's only 5% faster, it got a little bit of a nerf. So if anything, you're going to be using the Flower Babushka over the Monograss Braid, right? So that's why I moved those two around. Other than that, this is where I have the list at. Now Roseroot is A tier. I kind of want to expand on Roseroot a little bit for a second. Roseroot is A tier, but at the same time, it depends on what kind of Huntress you are. If you're going for orbitals, Roseroot is like F tier, because it's going to completely throw off your orbitals entirely. Or if you're just trying to get used to her muscle memory and stuff like that, you really don't want to be using Roseroot at all. But this is kind of an add-on tier list strictly based on power and strength and not how much it's going to impact your learning of the character. Because obviously, Shiny Pin is going to have a big influence on your muscle memory. Flower Babushka, Oak Haft, Roseroot, almost all of her add-ons very heavily skew the muscle memory of her. There's a very few that actually don't mess with her movement speeds and flight speeds fundamentally. Like Roseroot's going to throw off your snipes, throw off your orbitals. Flower Babushka and Shiny Pin are going to throw off your edge shots when people are rounding corners and things like that. Oak Haft is going to throw off you getting follow-up hits or grabs at windows when survivors are trying to run past you after you hit them. You know, the heads are fine because they slow down healing. That's it. It doesn't have anything to do with the muscle memory. You know, same with the reloading and stuff like that. But yeah. So this was a quick update. I just wanted to expand on this video and update it real quick because they changed the belts. And honestly, I think people overrate these belts a little bit. I think these people think they're better than what they are. But honestly, this could be the purple. You can make the purple 5% for 10 seconds. And it would be a good add-on then. If this was 5% for 10 seconds, it would probably be A tier, like top of A. But as it stands right now, 3% for 5 seconds. And especially if you're readying up hatchets and stuff like that immediately, it's garbage. People definitely overrate these add-ons for sure, and I really just don't think they have a place as they are right now. I think they need another rework, honestly, but yeah. That does it for this one. That was the update to the tier list, and yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.